All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Kansas City Oasis. We are Kansas City's premier alternative to faith-based programming. My name is Julie Randolph, and I will be your host for today. We want to welcome everyone who's here live on our Zoom chat, as well as those who are going to be watching on Facebook Live or watching as a recording later. We do have a really amazing program set up for you today, something a little different than usual, so stand by. I do want to remind you guys, those who may not be familiar, what our Oasis founded core values are. People are hard beliefs. Comes through making a difference. Reality is known through reason. Humans' hands solve human problems. Be accepting and be accepted. So today our program is going to include music from our very own JJ Cantrell. He's got some musical delights for us today. Our community moment speaker will be Marilee Harrison. For those of you who may not know Marilee, she was in Kansas City as a part of our core team for many years and has since moved away. So we are so glad, Marilee. Thank you for coming back to speak with us. She's going to talk about pandemic pastimes, meaning in the maelstrom. So looking forward to hearing what Marilee has to teach us today. After our coffee break, we're still going to do our breakout rooms. We are actually going to have a time for Community Care Week. So instead of having a featured speaker, I'm just going to kind of pose some questions to you guys about how can we care for each other? What have you been doing to care for yourself? Maybe kind of glean and learn some new ideas from our community members around us. So lots to look forward to today. And that being said, I don't have any announcements. Today is a straightforward week. So we are going to welcome JJ Cantrell. JJ, please bring us your musical delights.
Button is so far away. How's it going, everybody? It's good to see you all. Good to see you. I'm going to do a song that I've never done in my life, and then I'm going to do that song that I tried to do but was like, that's way too hard. I should practice that first. But first I'll do the song I haven't practiced. This one's a cover. It's by a country singer named Tyler Childers. And the video for it's really cool. So I recommend looking it up. The song's called All You Earn. Driving through the road work of the work they took forever on. The road cones blur like memories of the miles we shared between. The place you learned to say your prayers, the place I took to pray at. Loading in and breaking down my road dog daffodil dreams. Long before we ever met, I made up my direction. Long before I knew the half of half I'm sure of now. Though I'd say it ain't the way that you'd have gone about it. Follow me and lead me on and never let me down. So I love you till my lungs give out. I ain't lying. I'm all yours. You're all mine. There ain't two ways around it. There ain't no trying about it. I'm all yours. You're all mine. Fried morels and fine hotels and all that in the middle. Everybody curtain drawn. I want a taste of you. The goddess in my days and pen. The muse I ain't refusing. The part of me that ain't around. I'm always talking to. So I love you till my love's gone out. I ain't lying. I'm all yours. You're all mine. There ain't two ways around it. There ain't no trying about it. I'm all yours, you're all mine. I'll love you till my lungs give out. I ain't lying, I'm all yours, you're all mine. There ain't two ways around it. There ain't no trying about it. I'm all yours, you're all mine. I'll love you till my love's give out. I ain't lying, I'm all yours, you're all mine. There ain't two ways around it. There ain't no trying about it. I'm all yours, you're all mine.
Yay! Hey, JJ, your volume was just a little on the quiet side. I'm not sure if you can boost yourself up just a notch.
Oh, I can.
We want to hear the full volume version of the goodness.
Let's see. And then there's that thing. So many buttons. Audio settings. Check 1, 2.
Oh, much better. Thank you.
Yeah. How are you all doing today? Is the volume better? Is it A-okay? Let me hear what you say. Ooh, that gives me an idea for another song I've never tried to play anymore. I might not do that one though, because that one would be ridiculous. Maybe I will practice that one and do it later. All right. Change over to my lyrics. All right, this one's a hard one. But I did practice it this time, so there is a better chance. Oh my gosh, I don't need the notes. Okay. She calls him at lunch, won't be home and such. A friend is just in town and wants to meet around the bar on the 9th and Grin. She says this was not planned. She hangs up the phone, has no plans for home. You don't know what it is, how can you know it is at all? Cause when you're walking towards a cliff, if you're blind you still will fall. If you don't know where you're at, can you know where you will be? Walking without seeing takes walking faithfully. In the mirror light, she prepares for night. There's a blush and rouge, her story's growing huge. All the lies she'll tell, she'll hide them fairly well. She leaves for downtown's light, husband waves goodnight. If you don't know what it is, how can you know it is at all? Cause when you're walking towards a cliff, if you're blind you still will fall. If you don't know where you're at, how can you know where you will be? takes walking faithfully. Standing by her crush, her husband's face is flushed. Trapped in her own pride, she tries to run and hide. But now the world knows why her life's a show. You don't know what it is, how can you know it is at all? 'Cause when you're walking towards a cliff, if you're blind, you still will fall. If you don't know where you're at, how can you know where you will be? Walking without seeing takes walking faithfully. Thanks.
Yay! Oh, thank you, JJ. I still can't fathom how you do the everything. Good work. I can't do it. I'm so glad you can. We love hearing you. We are going to continue on and have more of this magical music a little bit later, so stay tuned for all of that. I do have an announcement. I lied to you. I'm so sorry. If you want to come and do what I do, talking at people, right? It's like a superpower. Come on, let's be honest. But if you think you have it in you to take on that superpower, we really could use some extra MCs in our rotation just to kind of help spread the love. And we'd love to have some fresh faces. So people in our community who have been here, done that for a little while, we would love to have you reach out to us. You can find the information about kind of what we're looking for with regards to expressing your interest on our private Facebook page. But any questions, please reach out to me. You can reach out to Nikki. You can reach out to Julie Wisman. We can help you with all that kind of stuff. So please consider it and let it be known that we want you. At this time, we are going to welcome our community moment speaker. So Marilee Harrison is here. I had a couple words to describe Marilee. Her friends describe her as compassionate, colorful, and kind. And if she had a warning label, we suppose it might be, don't ask what she'd do for a hot pepper. Sounds like a story. That sounds like a story, Marilee. I'm curious. I'm very curious. So with that, I will let you take it away.
Okay. Can you all hear me? You can. Okay, good. I'm so glad to see you all again. This is really a treat. So thanks for inviting me. So I'm going to talk today a little bit about my pandemic pastimes, or meeting in the maelstrom. But I hope you all don't think I'm going to tell you, like, you know, the meaning of life or anything like that. And I'm not even going to say this is tips for what to do, because my situation has been kind of weird and different. And, so it's going to be kind of an ambling through what I've been up to, just to let you all know, you know, what's up out here. I did move to Santa Fe, so I'm out in the mountain desert, the high desert in New Mexico. So I'm going to try sharing my screen here, and we'll get going. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Remember this? So this was like January 2017, when things were just starting to get dire. This was my coping mechanism. Had I known what was in store for us in 2020, it might have been more like, uh-oh, no, it's not going to do it. I did this before, but now it's not doing it. Let me try something here. There. It would have been more like this. Now I can't see any of you, but this is going to work.
Okay, so really, you got to share your screen again.
Oh, I have to share the screen again. Okay. Well,
I want to see what you got, girl.
I know. This is there. There. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Just a sec. We actually had this working before we started. So let me see if I can get this going again. Can you see that? Okay. Okay, the trouble is it's not allowing me to advance these, so I'm not sure what's up. Maybe I can do it manually. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oh. So if you recall, this was my garden back in Kansas City, and many of you visited me there. And it was lush, and it, like, I put seeds in the ground and everything just grew and everything was wonderful. And I enjoyed having you all over there. And there were little birds and sunflowers, and it was cheery and wonderful. So that's what I came from. And then I moved out here, and the pandemic happened. And everything changed. Like, everything in an instant changed, which I'm sure it did for everyone, all of you too. And I had a few extra things going on. So my housemate and friend had an illness that when the pandemic started became very acute and life-threatening. And that went on for over a month. And so it was intense and all-consuming. And so on top of trying to learn how to do everything differently, there was also that intense experience as well. And so at the same time, I had to try and keep him and us safe. So I stopped going anywhere. I stopped doing anything because we thought if he came down with COVID that he would die. So, you know, I learned Instacart and online everything. and basically since March, I have not been in a store to shop for anything. And I have been quite isolated here. So he's better, by the way. So that's a good thing. But it did start me on this rather isolated existence. And if you know me from before, you know that I love having people over and having parties and community and giving and receiving hugs and all these things. And now, you know, that's all gone. So I had to try and, you know, once that intense period was over, figure out what the heck to do with my life here alone. So going from my lush Kansas City garden, which was like that, and growing things like this watermelon, you know, if I put something in the ground, it just boom, grew in Kansas City. So coming here, I still decided, hey, I can still garden. You know, it's going to be a challenge, but I'm going to do it. So the first thing I needed to do was appreciate what was already here. And there were some beautiful things here. Some roses grow really well here. There was a honeysuckle vine that had been cut off and neglected. And so I started watering it and put up a trellis and boom, there it was. And more roses. And as you can tell, lots of the plantings here are xeric, which are, you know, low water, low maintenance, that kind of thing. Yucca. And some fun sunflowers. And the backyard, as you can see, looks onto some mountains. So I am privileged to have a nice setting to be in. And there are birds. These are pinion jays, and they come in a flock. And water is everything here because it's desert. So if you put out water, you know, they will come. But as for gardening, there was a little bit of work to do. Here's one of the beds that was there that I started clearing out. Basically what I had to do was dig all the dirt out because it was full of rocks and just very, you know, it wouldn't grow anything. So I hand dug those out and I made myself a little sifter, and for literally weeks I sifted rocks. This was my life. I sifted rocks out of my dirt and took roots and stuff out. And in hope I started some seedlings inside. I'd never done this before. So one of the things that I have found is that a challenge is good, to just have a goal and, try something new. So I did grow those seedlings inside. I added a planting area in the back, and that's a pretty little bluebird. There was a bluebird nest there. And put in another little raised bed. Oh yeah, there's an apricot tree in the back too that I added. Okay. And put in some plants in hopes. It started small. Let's see. And I'm just going to go through these kind of fast because, the garden grew. And one of the things that I found was, in trying new things, some things worked and some things really didn't. But the things that worked seemed to go well. So those big things are squash plants. And I got lots of squash. And I put in an herb garden. In Kansas City, if I put in like chive seeds, they were like, boom, chives forever. But here I had to start them 4 times before any would keep growing. And put in a couple trees, peach tree, apricot tree. And I tried some new things, like some new fun squash seeds and some long Chinese beans. And I had to put up a shade thing because it's in the mountains, in the desert, like there's no filter for the sun and it just burns everything to a crisp if you don't have some shade. So I had to, accommodate that. So here's a little tomatillo flour. First time I grew tomatillos was this year, because that's a thing here. And here they are growing. And I'm going to show you what I made from things too, because the other thing I do is cook from this stuff. So this is some tomatillo sauce from those tomatillos and from these peppers I grew. So you knew I'd get some of those peppers in here. And what do you do with heirloom tomatoes and those roasted peppers? You make chili. And I had tons of these little cherry tomatoes. So I made some focaccia bread with tomatoes and olives. And I had lots of rhubarb. It was huge. So I made strawberry rhubarb pie. I know some of you bake really, really well, but this is like, this kind of thing is at the top of my skill level. So, and this is a zucchini. I planted a bunch of zucchini and they all died except this one plant, but now it's finally starting to give me something. So I was able to get a big crop of lots of stuff, even though a pack rat ate a bunch of stuff at the beginning. And, I had some other, problems, and some didn't make it. But, then what you do get is really, it's really kind of amazing. And I'm thankful for that in the desert, that I was able to grow some things. So what else have I done? Well, it's hard to think of things that are meaningful, if you can't get out and don't interact with people. So one of the things I've done is to team up with some people who are taking supplies, food and water and supplies to the Navajo Nation, which is nearby. And they were hit so badly with COVID. It was really awful and continues to be a challenge. So I teamed up with them, and both I and others, are able to pool our resources. I have a bench out front for friends to drop things off, and then I can get them to the people who take them on to the Navajo lands. And the one thing that I've decided to have two exceptions for my not getting out. And one is to help transport these water containers for the Navajo Nation for people who don't have running water. And so I'm helping to get those where they need to be. And the other thing I decided to do was to vote and to get out and do that in person. And I'm also writing letters to help with voter turnout with Vote Forward. This was my first 100, and I plan to do another 100 to help get the vote out. And then I went and voted, and it felt so good. So, and one more thing I did during this time was to adopt a rescue dog. And I know, he's adorbs. So this is Tucker, and he's brought so much joy into my life, and I really appreciate him. He's recuperating right now from some surgery, so I'm not going to get him out and show him to you, but here he is, and he's adorable, and he's fun. And this ties it all together. This is Tucker outside with our resident lizard and the herb garden. So that's kind of what I've been up to. Cheers. This is a basil garnish. So that's what I have to share today. I'm going to stop sharing. There we go.
Oh, fantastic. I am so impressed. Do you guys realize the amount of work she had to do to sift out rocks? And I just can see the before and after of here's this mess of rocky garden that you started with. And then here's this lush, and I can tell you put like the fertilizer because it's got those little white dots in the soil. You are welcome to come to my house anytime, any day. I do have an important question. Does Tucker help you with all of the gardening?
Tucker loves to come out and help me with the gardening.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
The backyard is basically rock, and it gets really warm in the sun, and he just comes out and hangs out when he's in the sun. Yeah, he's a real mellow dog.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. I know there's been a lot of people who have adopted animals, and some have gone well and some have not gone well. So I'm glad to hear that yours is a success story. So very good. Marilee, thank you so much for sharing. I feel like we're all going to want to go home and roast peppers and, tomatoes and have that for lunch today. And everybody's talking about emergency cookies that apparently you used to have an emergency cookie stash in your freezer. So we might have to make some emergency cookies in this house a little bit later. So we'll see. Oh, and then olive and focaccia bread, of course. I'm so, you know what? We may have to request that you post the recipe because I know it won't be the same as your homegrown tomatoes. But if you are willing to share the recipe and maybe some pictures of you and Tucker when he's feeling a little bit better, we'd love to keep up with you on that private page. Please post those items there.
I will.
For right now, we thank you again, Marilee. Everybody give her a virtual round of applause if we could. Thank you. Thank you. We are going to invite everybody to come to our breakout rooms. So make sure you get a refresh on your beverage of choice, coffee, tea, water. I have a beautiful lime, apple, green, something energy drink. I'm sure it's very healthy. We are going to start those breakout rooms here in just a moment. And we will come back to our main page in about 10 minutes. Just a reminder for those of you who are staying in the main page, please do bear in mind that we will still be recording. So any conversations you have in that main page, please just make sure they are still PG and appropriate. Okay, we'll see you guys in those breakout rooms. All right. Well, did you guys have some wonderful talks in your breakout rooms today? Yes, yes. Everybody's starting to trickle back in. I got to meet one of our new Oasians. She just joined us last week. Kevin and Lisa, you guys always have the best backgrounds. I'm kind of jealous. I thought about getting like a video background today, and I thought that might be distracting for my own little tiny brain. But always magical. Yeah, all right, let me make sure everyone's out of our rooms. Okay, excellent. So we are still going to keep going today. If you guys remember the musical delights we had, JJ is going to come play for us again. So JJ, please take it away.
I never seem to finish all my food. I always get a doggy bag from the waiter, so I just keep one still chewed, and I take it home, save it for later, then deal with fungal rot, bacteria formation, microbes, enzymes, mold and oxidation. I don't care, I've got a secret trick up my sleeve. I never bother with that. These plastic Tupperware containers, plastic cling wrap, really a no-brainer. I just like to keep all my flavors sealed in tight with aluminum foil. Never settle for less. That kind of wrap is just the best to keep your sandwich nice and fresh. Stick it in your cooler, eat it when you're ready, but maybe you'll choose a refreshing herbal tea. Oh, by the way, I've cracked the code. I figured out the shadow organizations, and the Illuminati know that they're finally primed for world domination. And soon across the border, puppet masters for the new world order. Be aware, there's always someone that's watching you, and still the government won't admit they faked the whole moon landing. Thought control race, psychotronic scanning, don't mind that. I'm protected cause I made this hat from aluminum foil. Wear a hat that's foil lined in case an alien's inclined probe your butt or read your mind. Looks a bit peculiar, seems a little crazy, but someday I'll prove, I'll prove, I'll prove, I'll prove there's a big conspiracy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was singing along the whole time, JJ. That was amazing. Thank you. So if you guys have not heard those songs before, thank you, JJ. You're welcome, world. Excellent. So glad you brought Weird Al to our presence today. We are going to transition into our community time. So we try to do this kind of like the fifth Sunday every now and then. We shuffle things up just to keep the world spicy, you know, Mary Lee style with some red peppers here and there. So today is Community Care Week. So in lieu of a main speaker, we are going to have an opportunity for us to just kind of talk to one another, share our ideas. And we had collected some ideas from earlier in the week that I wanted to kind of just pose questions to you guys about how are you doing? How are you coping? What's making you feel good? Is there anything, there's a lot of things kind of wearing on us all. I think, you know, we've got this beautiful election event coming up in about a month or so. Oh, who knows how that's going to turn out. You know, we've got people like Mary Lee who have loved ones that are very high at risk for becoming severely ill if they get COVID. I know a lot of us have already, you know, been ill with COVID. So the first question I want to pose to you guys, and the way I kind of want to do this today, you are more than welcome to type your comments, type them to everyone if you can in the group chat. And then also for participants, if you guys click on the button at the bottom of your screen that says participants, there is an option that you can actually raise your hand. And that just lets me know that you'd like an opportunity to speak. I'm also going to have you on my gallery view. I can only see so many people at a time. So if you want to raise your hand like in your picture, great. But just kind of know that I can't always see everybody. So I will try to kind of acknowledge you as I'm able to, but there is definitely that raise hand option in the participant view. Also under reactions, you can do some sort of way to get my attention there as well. So first question that we thought might be an appropriate one was, how has social media influenced your mental well-being? So would anybody like to share about social media, whether it's influenced in a beneficial way or maybe a not beneficial way? I'm looking for hands here. Anybody interested to share? Has anybody noticed that you've been on social media less? Yeah. Genevieve and Jeremy are kind of nodding yes. I still refuse to watch the news. Oh yeah, Genevieve and Jeremy have said, I found social media, especially Facebook, as an emotional dump. So I know I've had several friends that have basically said, well, I'm going to stay on Facebook Messenger, but I'm not going to click into Facebook proper really at all. Has anybody found social media to be encouraging or to be an outlet for sharing their own ideas in any way? Marilee says that without it, she would be totally isolated and that we are her lifeline. So Marilee, we're glad to have you in our lives and we're glad that we're a lifeline for you. And I know Jason, I'm going to pick on you here for a second. Jason was doing a lot of work with the musician groups. Jason, do you have any interest in sharing with us a little bit about some of the emotional support that you've had, either supporting other musicians or how does that make you feel in any way?
Sure. So before the pandemic, Amy and I would go out to bars and see a lot of local bands play. And when everybody had to stay home, a lot of them in the Kansas City area organized an online every night Kansas City online music series at 8 p.m. And so supported them that way, shared it, gave them some tips here and there, and just really tried to stay off the grumbling social media at that time and escape with music.
Okay. So that was a really good option. So Jason was able to kind of almost narrow his view of that social media outlet and just kind of really focus on music. Lindsay's recommendation, or what worked for Lindsay, was to turn all the notifications off. And then she said she'll see them if she opens up the app. So that's actually what I do as well. I don't have messages ping on my, you know how on your cell phone, it'll be like a little red dot saying like, hey, you have a notification waiting for you. It's like, no, when I'm in the mood, I will click into it. MK shared in our chat that it's very important to me. I get to tie into what my friends are up to. So I think that's another outlet too. I know I like, posting the beneficial things going on in my life, whether it's a walk or something I got to do fun with my kids or house projects I've been working on, trying to put some positivity out into the world. I know that does kind of make me feel good too. Good. Genevieve and Jeremy also shared that they removed all the social media from their phone. They can only access it on the computer, so it's less accessible and also less addictive. So that's another really good hint for those of us. Have any of you guys noticed, just a raise of hands, anybody have noticed that you're kind of addicted to it and you're just like clicking into it over and over and again, like what's going on, what's new, anything? Yeah, Stephanie is raising her hand. Lindsay. I definitely will have times where I just look at the screen on my phone, like I need to be looking at something right now, but I don't know what. And then that's my cue to be like, just set it down and walk away and go read a book. What are books? I don't know what those are. I know what audiobooks are, but that can be hard to just like, what do I do with my time? Do I look at posts? Lindsay says, oh man, books. I feel like I just need somebody to like tie me to a chair and hand me a book and just walk away. I don't make time for books. Okay, Lisa, I was hoping somebody would bring this up. I wasn't going to plant it. Lisa said, if you haven't watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, I recommend it. I have had now 4 people recommend this. Lisa, do you mind unmuting for a few moments and just giving us a little bit of a trailer or a preview or a, hey, here's why it was beneficial. I am very curious to watch it and I just haven't had time yet, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Well, basically, I think we all know that Google knows every single thing we do. And they use that to create, algorithms they target us with ads and stories and suggested sites to follow and things like that. And it's good to be aware of that, I think. I personally, I look at Facebook a lot. I've never in my life clicked on an ad. I hide all ads, hide all from that advertiser. And I never like, share, or click on memes or anything from other pages other than legit news sites, which I consider legitimate, like the Washington Post or something. But it's worth watching. And it does talk about how it can be addictive. That's one thing, but the way that they track us and follow us and target us it's good knowledge to have.
Well, that's super helpful. So, you know what, and maybe we can even, for those of you who are interested in engaging in a positive and kind of a loving way, I'll encourage, maybe somebody would be willing to start like just a dialogue thread on our private page later, and we can all just kind of share our thoughts about that documentary for those of you who are interested to watch. I know that's kind of on my list for something to do in the next week or so, is to watch that, even if I just have to do it in small increments. Floyd had mentioned here that he doesn't smoke, but he sees the social media as a bit of a smoking habit. Sometimes we need something else to do with our hands and our brain to be otherwise occupied. And I think that's a great idea. I'm going to address Amy's comment here, and then I want to get back to Rachel's ideas. Amy said that the biggest thing she's learned is just to scroll rather than to actually engage in people who are really dug in. So I imagine that's probably most pertinent in things like, political comments or negative comments. I can see that to be really, really interesting. Rachel, if you're still around, would you be willing to, Rachel had mentioned in our chat, she had a list of positive stuff I can do to re-energize when I start staring at my phone aimlessly. Do you mind sharing a couple of those ideas with us?
Yeah, it's just like going on a walk or
Mhm.
going to the park and just like, I know a lot of people don't like to get out, but I can distance myself away from people and still just be around people, like seeing the kids play on the playground and stuff, like to give my brain a break and to feel like human again.
Mhm.
And not to stay in my head so much, like to actually do something not like strenuous activity, but relaxing. And like, cause I'm a teacher and I am never around kids anymore or like
That's
never
hard.
have those moments anymore. So just like, I mean, I'm not like sitting around watching the kids on the playground, but I'm like enjoying the atmosphere of the park. So.
Yeah. Excellent. Do you have any tricks for, I know I work really long. I'm a nurse. I work long hours in a hospital. And sometimes I can't go outside because I have to be physically, present on my work area. But do you have any recommendations of what works when you can't travel outside of the area that you're in? Things that help get your mind off of the phone?
Right. Yeah. Like your idea of reading was really good.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I've been doing too. Like a real book.
A real book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if my nursing department would appreciate a real book, but we'll see. We'll see if I can sneak it.
Right.
It's like a nursing journal, right? I'm sure I could print out a nursing journal. Nobody'd care about that. I'm going to switch gears just slightly. I feel like we're kind of merging into this anyway. Our next question that had been posed by our leadership in our community was, how are you attending to your digital well-being? I know some of our users have already commented on ad blockers and things like that. Figuring out how can we keep ourselves on track with that kind of ADD mentality. What have you also been doing so for your digital, mental, and emotional, physical well-being? So I know Rachel mentioned she's getting out and going on walks. Marilee has her dog to engage with. What else? Anybody else willing to kind of share some ideas of what you've been doing to help you with your physical or emotional well-being? I know Lindsay and Rob are avid bikers and you guys do a lot of exercisey stuff. I've been trying just in the last week or so to treat exercise like medicine. If my doctor gave me a medicine and said, this is really important, you have to take it, I would take it every day, right? Because I'm a rule follower. What can I say? But I'm not very good at exercising as regularly as I need to. So trying to work that in as things that my body needs. Lindsay said it's not everyone's favorite, but it does help a lot. Yeah. Lindsay, do you mind sharing at all about that and how exercise has helped with your coping or with your own physical or mental well-being? Oh, of course I caught her in the middle of chewing a snack. I'm sorry. Yes, please finish your bite and then you can unmute whenever you're ready.
For me, getting outside and exercising helps, just keeps my anxiety down. It helps my depression. Mm-hmm. For me, I had to make myself do it at first because I hated it. It sucked. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes it at first. You're not great at it. You're out of breath. You're sweating. You're not used to that. It's all gross. But once I started doing it and started getting better, which everyone will get better, trust me, I've smoked more in my life than I have not smoked. So everybody can do it. It's just sometimes you got to make yourself and you will never regret doing it. That's what I have to tell myself. I will regret not doing this. So I'm going to go do it because I won't regret doing it. Excellent. And it always rings true. I'm never like, man, I shouldn't have done that bike ride.
Exactly. Yeah.
Never have I said that. So even though times where it was not the greatest bike ride, which Rob and other people have been around for that, so they know it happens.
Oh yeah, I've heard some stories about pop tires and all sorts of things that you guys have journeyed through. So you've definitely, gotten some adventure in with. It's not just always smooth sailing, but worth persevering through for sure.
And it's also a matter of finding what works for you. Just because biking works for me doesn't mean it works for everybody. Some people prefer running, some people prefer swimming. It doesn't matter. Just find what you like to do.
Absolutely. I was very lucky. I took my kids to just a community pool. Man, that stuff is expensive. It's like $9 a piece for a drop-in fee. And I was like, okay, I love you, $9 worth. So it was 27 for all three of us. But we ended up having so much fun. And I literally played fetch with my kids. I don't know if you're supposed to call it that. I threw goggles in the pool and they swam and got them and brought them back to me. And we did that for like half an hour. It was the best time ever. And then they were tired and my calves were sore because I was jogging in place. And then we found a water aerobics instructor showed up and she's like, yeah, we have class in 20 minutes. I'm like, what? So Lindsay, I think you're right that water aerobics works super great for me. Me and my little ladies with our little floaty barbells, that's my jam. That's my jelly. I like it on my toast or die. Switching back over to our chat here. Winter is coming. Thank you, MK. It is. We will find ways to stay warm in the winter, but I appreciate your pun there. Genevieve and Jeremy, are you guys willing to tell us a little bit about geocaching? I've heard a lot about that, but I have not had the pleasure yet.
Yeah, so we haven't done it recently, but more in the spring and early summer. So it's geocaching. You can get an app. I don't know.
Yeah, the app is free. You can just look up geocache and it's pretty easy to use. You can find, you know, where you're at or a location you want to go to. And the geocaching is basically things that are hidden.
So treasure hunt.
It's like a treasure hunt. Most of the treasures are not super exciting. For kids, they are. They're fantastic because they might, you know, it's more about just finding the treasure than the actual treasure itself, you know, like, yeah. So inside will be just like little things that people have left as, you know,
yeah.
usually
you
like
get a map and where it is in Kansas City.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
and
I can see it.
There's like, yeah, there's about 4 different types. The like easiest or the smallest one is just something you see. And the biggest one is something that you can actually like a treasure box that you can go in and you leave a little note saying, oh, I found it. And sometimes they're not as well taken care of. You're kind of in charge. If you make one, you should take care of it as long as you can. So, yeah. But it's awesome. Anybody can do it. Apparently from our daughter, she says, you're not supposed to tell anybody. So even as you're going around hunting it down, shh, don't let anybody see you. Yeah. Oh. So we try to do it stealthily. Yeah, as best we can. Yeah.
And the fun ones are when they're hidden in plain sight. So you're on like a very busy bridge, but it's like tucked away underneath a rail, and it, you know, everyone walks by it, but no one knows it's there. So that's
very cool. So we get to have an adventure. We get to find treasure, and we get to be ninjas. Is what you're telling me?
Yes. Yes.
This sounds magical. Okay, I'm gonna put it on my calendar. I live by my calendar. I can shower without my calendar, but it's dicey, you know? So I should put that on my calendar so I can make time to do that with my kids.
Yeah, your girls would love it, I think. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, and I'm sure they probably have them in every area of town too.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. All right, guys, I'm gonna switch over to our next topic here. What are some ways that you felt cared for by your friends, family, or community that you haven't been able to visit with in person? Anybody willing to share or share comments in our chat about how you've felt reached out to? I can share one while you guys are getting your thoughts together. I was just having kind of a day where we had a lot of changes happening, and I was starting a new teaching clinical. I teach nursing school. And my kids were starting hybrid remote learning, and I, just had so many little things going on in my brain all at once, and I just could feel the anxiety rising in me like water in a well, and my mom actually arranged with my boyfriend she sent him money and asked him to go to the store and buy me a bouquet of roses. And it was a gift from her, but she, of course, roped him into being the fetcher and deliverer. And that was really great. And then every day for, however long roses last, a week and a half or so, I got to look at these beautiful roses and think like, oh, my mom bought me roses when I just was having kind of an anxiety-filled week. And that definitely felt really good to know that there's people out there who love and care for me. In a physical, tangible way of sending flowers when I can't always see them in person. Great. Floyd mentioned here he had a friend who wanted to play a game online, so they set up a play session over the weekend with a bunch of friends. I think that's amazing. Have any of you guys done remote gaming or even like the video watch at the same time sort of thing? Erin Kelsey say yes. Let's see. I know we've got a lot of people with cameras off today. Okay, excellent. March says yes. I'm going to give everybody permission to brag about themselves for just a minute. You're not fishing for compliments here, but anybody willing to share what they've done for other people that you know has made them feel loved? Any voluntary braggers? I'm going to volunteer Amy. She donated a kidney. Hello, that's kind of a big deal, right? I know that's a little bit different, and then I know that we also, our community supported Amy and Jason, and I'm going to pick on Jason too, actually. Jason helped support us to all get those cool yard signs. I have one at my house. Did anybody else get yard signs from Jason? Yes, excellent. Amy has one too. So just bringing our community, every time I see that yard sign, I think about you guys. I think about Oasis, and I think about what that sign means to me as a person. Floyd was just saying that he wants to set up some simultaneous watch parties for especially people who don't get a lot of visitors. Excellent. Okay, and then we're going to start wrapping up and have JJ play us one more song. Last question that was posed to us is, what is one thing that we can do in the upcoming week? So literally the next 7 days that you can do to better your own well-being. Anybody have any ideas? Cookies? Amy, are you going to make cookies? Oh, no. Okay. Write and journal is what Floyd said. Excellent. What else are you guys going to do? I know somebody mentioned yoga earlier. Sorry, I kind of glossed over that one. Yoga sounds amazing. I know they said Jeremy and Autumn go swimming every Tuesday. That totally counts, right? You get to get some exercise in. My girls and I are going to do the Wednesday water aerobics class again. Marge has been going to PT and looking at yoga. Oh, the question, Aunt Jean, was what are you going to do in the next 7 days to better your own well-being? Okay. Marge is going to look for a new mental health therapist. Genevieve and Jeremy are going to explore more outside in KC. Excellent. Zion National Park. What? That sounds amazing. I want some pictures from that. You should check the geocaching and see what they have in the national park. Rachel's going to get outside more. Excellent. I know Will and I are going to do a salsa class on Wednesday, so that should be fun. Someday if we get good at salsa, we'll have to dance for you. It might be a while. Does anybody have Halloween costumes in the works? I feel like that's something self-care-ish, right? Ooh, Aunt Gina's said she had salsa on her eggs and potatoes. That sounds like a Utah adventure. Rachel's working on her costume. Rachel, are you allowed to tell us what your costume is going to be yet, or is it a surprise?
I'll let you know when I decide.
Okay, I expect pictures. You can post them on our private page. Are you on our private page yet?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oh, and then Terry is going to look at the list that Jack gave out for the places that he hasn't been to. He's not going to do them all in one. I think that's good. Maybe like one every so often. Please send us pictures about the places you guys go from Jack's list. I know Jack would be very glad to hear that you guys are checking out the adventures that he recommended. Does that count for salsa lessons? I feel like salsa lessons count, right? I don't know. Has anybody ever taken dance classes? Salsa, merengue, classical, waltz? Yeah, okay. You should be Lara Croft. Oh, Lindsay, that would be good. Let's see. 1 week for the whole list would indeed be very ambitious. So for those of you guys who weren't here, Jack Cooley gave kind of a list of really cool places to go see in Kansas City. So I agree that would probably be pretty ambitious to do all in 1 week. Does anybody have a Halloween birthday? That was one of our questions from MK. Any Halloween birthdays? I know my kids and their dad love Halloween and their house is decked out. Okay, guys, we'll keep those comments coming. I'm gonna let you guys still kind of interact with each other. MK's birthday is coming up on the 31st. Oh, that's right. No, I was the MC last year when MK had her birthday on Halloween. So MK, we expect some amazing words of wisdom again this year. And then Halloween is the anniversary for Stephanie. Excellent. Well, happy upcoming anniversary. Okay, we are going to invite JJ to come sing for us again and get ready to close out our programming. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas. I'm hoping that everybody can take at least one idea that they heard from our interaction today and take that forward into your week or your month or pass it to a friend or something like that. So JJ, please take us away.
Who won't let go? I live in my head, and I don't look like my photos. And I hate the sound of the world outside, 'cause everybody coming here can't wait to say goodbye. I followed your car to my childhood home, and I looked for the key hidden under the stone. And I still hear the sound in my father's voice when he lifts me up like I'm a little boy. And I saw horses from my window. They were watching all the cars go, and they don't care that I am broken. Close my eyes and run beside them, 'cause I'm already free, 'cause I'm already don't like my photos, and I hate the sound of the world outside, and I still haven't found my place to hide. And I saw horses from my window, they're watching all the cars go, and they don't care that I am broken. Close my eyes and run beside them. I saw horses from my window, they were watching all the cars go, and they don't care. I am broken. Close my eyes and run beside them. Through the valleys and the pastures, and I know you'll never find me, 'cause I am free, 'cause I'm already free. So don't look for me here, 'cause I run in my dreams. In my dreams.
Yay! Oh, thank you so much, JJ. That was exactly the music that I needed to wrap up our afternoon. Thank you. We still got our virtual applause happening here. Thank you guys. And I think Lisa or one of our other people had posted a Venmo link. So if you would like to send JJ a tip for his musical performance today, please send that over to his Venmo. That helps JJ with, you know, the tie-dye acquisitions, the musical inspirations. He just started a new job. I'm sure there will be more button-ups in our future, whether they're tie-dye or not, you know, we'll go from there. I did want to remind you guys also that Oasis is a 501c3. We are a completely volunteer-run and donation-supported organization. So if you would like to support Oasis, your human hands can help solve our human problem-solving community, right? And give us a space for our secular community to flourish. Recurring donations of any amount is the best way to help Oasis. You can do that through Symbol Give on our website of kcoasis.org. I know I send mine there and they email me every month saying, you did the thing, thank you. You can also text to give at 816-839-7656. I have the link for the kcoasis.org/donate that I will put in the chat box here in just a moment. That is all we have. I want to give a special thanks to all of our guests. We had JJ doing music, Miralee with our community moment, and all of you for making our community time so, so valuable today. I know I'm definitely going to go look up some of the things that you guys recommended. Maybe stop looking at social media and go take a walk like one of our members recommended. So thank you so much to all of you. If you are interested to stay in the chat, you are welcome to do so. I'll probably leave it open for about 15 minutes or so before I close, and we will turn off the recording. So everybody, thank you again for coming today, and we'll see you next week.